Rise and shine, it's a brand new day. Cannon can take the stage, ready to play. Weekdays at 10, the cars in the scene. Coffee in hand, they're living the dream. Passion in their voice, got the whole town awake. Bringing fire to the mic, make no mistake. Shows in the corner, spitting out facts. Dropping truth bombs, ain't holding back. Cannon in the morning, feel the heat. From 10 a.m. CST, can take a seat. We live and love that break in the mud. Light up your speakers, crank up the sound. They're talking about life upside down. Opinions exploding like a sonic blast. In the studio, they're built to last. With passion and grit, they engage and ignite. Every single week, their foes can't fight. From sports to politics,
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Good morning. It's a Football Tuesday. And what about that game last night?
I was going to say, it ended up turned out to be a damn good game.
Until the end. Lions kind of ran away with it, dude. And it's like, you got to, now we got to sit here and, reanalyze, well, at least I do, because I was, talking big shit, saying oh, the Lions' window is closed, and your offense is, their offense looked good last night.
I was gonna say, we got a combination of the Lions are not as dead as we thought they were, and the Ravens are not the same team they used to be.
I mean, look, I kind of said this some yesterday. It takes time when you make changes, right? And the Lions made changes in week one. That offensive line had not, gelled yet together, right? I mean, it was their first real action as that line as it was constituted. Now we're starting to see what that line can do as they're starting to gel. I'll get the comments here in a minute, guys. I'm still sending the show out to all the different Twitterverses. So, thank you.
Yep.
So we're starting to, and we're seeing this with multiple teams. It's not just Detroit, right? We saw that with Chicago this weekend. We saw it with Cleveland and to some degree this weekend. We're seeing it with Pittsburgh. So I mean, really, this is nothing that shouldn't be expected to a certain degree. Does that make sense?
Yes and no. I get what you're saying, but the Lions, after that first showing, still had a bit to prove. Whether it was that, you actually finally fixed what was wrong, or it was the blip in the radar.
Well, I mean, week one, come on. We said all year, week one is still like the preseason. Week two is kind of still like the preseason. So, now we're acting like, well, no, we're coming out of that preseason phase still, fellas. I mean, now we're finally starting to see what these teams' potential is like. The first 3 weeks, come on, let's face it. The first 3 weeks don't tell us a lot. We don't really know usually to weeks 4 and 5 and 6. So, I mean, are we really surprised that we're seeing a Lions team where the offensive line is starting to gel, where issues that we didn't see in week 1 or 2 are now finally exposed because they were an older, more established team, and now as teams have started to gel up, they're exposing those weaknesses. And this is normal. So, I mean, I don't know why we're acting surprised about Detroit or why we're acting surprised about certain other teams doing certain things, because this is the norm, isn't it?
I think for me, I was just a little bit surprised because of the swings. In week 1, Detroit gets a 50 burger hung on them, and then in week 2, they blew the door, or week 3, they blow the doors off the Ravens at the end, just ran away with it. Their offense last night looked like it did under Ben Johnson. Were you even using the gadget plays? They were dialing up the trick plays. They looked like they were they hit the ground running. You know what I mean?
And
finally looked Yeah.
Henry's finally starting to show age because the last couple games haven't been that great for him.
Mhm.
You know, there's that to add in it. Look at what else with the Lions too. You look at the Bears game. Now, granted, I didn't get to see the whole game. I got to see highlights. Take away that Tesla catch with the most horrendous. Oh, he's out of bounds. I don't know how they ever thought he got out of bounds and gave him the extra play. Without that play, though, let's say that game goes into halftime 21-14 versus 28-14. That changed a lot of that game. Much different outcome. You know, they probably still win the game. I'm not going to say the Bears are going to win that game, but the outcome might have been a lot closer than what it was, right? You look at last night's game, and Joe, I agree with you. At the end, they pull away, but they pull away. Why? Because the Ravens get in desperation mode, and when you get in the desperation mode, usually you make mistakes, and usually teams do pull away. And that back half of the fourth quarter, when teams get in desperation mode, they get that extra score that just seals the deal. More times than not, we see that. So once again, though, not completely surprised. But we've seen the progression of Detroit. We've seen progression of Chicago. We've seen progression out of Green Bay. Even though they lost this week, we saw progression out of them in certain terms. We're starting to see progression. Conversely, we're seeing weakness with the Bears. Defense is now being exposed more as a weakness in week 3 as it was in week 1, right? For Green Bay, the offense
the depth of the offensive line it has gotten massively tested, and it's not where we were expecting the depth to be. The starters are good in their positions, except for maybe the high-priced free agent in Banks. We still don't know what he is yet because, I mean, his first game was crappy, and then he's been injured.
Morning, Eric. I mean, and look at what were the run numbers last night?
I wouldn't say the Ravens
run
are
like 5 million yards. They ran all over Baltimore last night.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the Ravens are a fluke, man. Like
No.
the Ravens have been a really good team for the last 5, 6, 7 years, dude. Like they've been a good team.
Yeah, but
I don't think that they're still that team. I think you might be starting to see like cracks in the armor. But still, like let's give the Lions their due.
Mhm.
Like to go into Baltimore and to beat them by 2 scores, like that's not everybody does that, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like that. Give them their props. Let them get their victory lap in, especially on me because I sat here and told them for a whole show that their window was not only slammed shut but nailed shut, and I guess they went and got the claw hammer and pulled the nails out. So like. You know,
and look, I'm not going to say they're overrated based off of last night's performance. I'm not going to say the Lions are now world beaters based off of last night's or last 2 weeks. You know, you got to wait until about week 6 and 7. Then we'll probably have a solid. By that point, we should know where the teams solidly are. Actually, starting week 5, and granted, that's where the bye week start. Will we know a lot about the Bears and Packers, for example? Not really.
Yeah,
we'll have good ideas.
Ours we might have to push to like week 6, week 7 because that bye kind of.
It'll be like week 7, week 8. Yeah, you push those guys back a week. By week 8, though, we know what this league's going to look like for the playoff push and everything else. But right now, it's like, dude. Like,
for the most part, you'll still get your usual NFL surprises. That's why we have the old adage of any given Sunday.
I mean,
man, Joe, the way you ate that humble pie, you got Fred all sad.
I know, right?
He feels sorry for fucking with you. Shit.
I mean,
you don't see me sitting here crying or cutting myself or anything, dude. I'm just like, I'm a man, and when I'm wrong, I can admit it. Like, I was wrong.
That was a surprise last night, Eric. No pass rush for Baltimore.
Yeah.
And look, we know Jared Goff is a good enough quarterback, or basically almost any starting quarterback in this league is good enough that if you don't get a pass rush on them, they can carve you up if you've got decent even halfway decent targets for them to throw to. Jordan, I'm not trying to bash on Green Bay here. Last year, Jordan Love had a little bit of an issue with that, but that wasn't his fault. That's because his receivers last year decided to have concrete hands. But for the most part, if you can't get a pass rush on these guys, you're going to lose. And we saw that, and now we're starting to see injuries. Nick Bosa now out for the year, right? And we're starting to see some big injuries come through, and And the Bears, their secondary, Jalen Johnson out for the year.
Which Bosa, Nick or Joey?
Nick.
Oh,
Right,
I didn't see that.
Nick. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
out for the
Jalen
year?
Johnson. Jalen Johnson out for the year for Chicago. We have yet to see Spider-Man in Chicago because he's got a hamstring issue. Chicago's got secondary issues now.
Isn't it going to be that he's going to be out for the year or two, or at least a good majority of it?
No, he's not on the IR. It's this week-to-week thing on this hamstring issue. But like last week, the corners that we had played exceptionally well. So I don't think they're going to rush him back. But we're starting to see the injury thing happen, how teams are reacting.
Jerry just came out and said that just came out and said that CeeDee Lamb might go on the IR for 4 weeks too.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't hear. Oh, the last report I heard is that he was going to miss a couple of weeks, and he wasn't going on the IR.
Yeah,
No.
Jerry said he might be going on the IR.
Yeah, but like the IR,
minimum of 4 weeks.
Yeah, the IR is 4 weeks. So I mean that's.
Yeah, but I'm just saying what I heard. It was only going to be like 2 weeks he was going to miss.
Oh, yeah.
I just read this yesterday.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean,
yeah, I read it yesterday, but it was early in the day.
hey, the only guy who can't talk right now, any kind of smack whatsoever, is Rob Haspels from the Valhalla Hour, and here's why. In Week 1, Monday Night Football against the Bears, after the Bears scored their first 2 scores, Haspels is like this. Oh my God, our season's over. I'm done. We're cooked. The season's over with. Forget about it. This game's over. We're done. So, Rob Haspels, your season ended in the first quarter of the first game against the Bears. You don't get to talk anymore. Everyone else, you're fine.
Oh, man.
Look, I've always said injuries
Yeah.
And there's Lions fans who were saying they didn't matter last year because we have next man up mentality, blah, 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 blah.
I'm not making excuses. I'm saying I'm not happy with the depth we have that we couldn't overcome the injuries. That's what I'm saying.
Can we put that last comment back up? Because he's over here clowning. Jim, you're over here clowning that Green Bay to Cleveland, but Detroit has a date with Cleveland too, and so let's see what happens in that game before you start talking too big, dude.
Yeah.
Cleveland's defense is elite, dude.
Well, that's like this, like the Vikings, like, oh, look how bad we trashed the Bengals. Like, dude, they didn't have Joe Burrow. Now, if the whole division gets to face the Bengals without Joe Burrow and they still look like a JV high school football team, then great, we can do apples to apples. But until I'm saying what the Browns, if they get a quarterback like we talked about yesterday, and I said it before the season, they don't have to score much with that defense. They're kind of like that 06 Bears team, right? That couldn't score offensively. The defense and special teams did it all. Yeah, that's Cleveland. They just need a little bit more competent offense than what they got right now.
Yeah, and take your victory lap, Lions fans, but come on, man. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Marlon Humphreys, he's not capable of covering number 1 receivers anymore, dude. He absolutely got torched. He got smoked last night, dude. And he's been getting smoked for the last couple years. And I kind of feel like the Ravens are hanging on to him just because of his name at this point. I don't think he's capable of covering number 1 receivers anymore, dude. He's not fast enough.
I mean, look, we're 3 games in, so whether you're 2-1 or 1-2, there are very few 3-0 teams. Look, you're okay. You're still okay at this point. Coming in from Chicago, the man who went to Giordano's because it was too far to walk to Lou Malnati's. Good morning, Woody.
Hey, Ken, stop talking fucking shit.
If you look at the Bears, we're 1-2 right now. If we beat Joe's Raiders this week and we go to the bye at 2-2, we're okay. If you're 1-2 right now and you get to 2-2 after this week, you're okay. Now, if you're 1-2 and you go to 1-3, okay, now you start to worry. If you're 2-1 and you go to 2-2, you're still okay. If you go to 3-1, now you can start to say, yeah, we might be cooking with butter here. But let me remind you of something. Last year, the Bears were 4-2. Then hit DC on Sunday Night Football in America.
Yeah.
And the Hail Mary happened and proceeded to lose 9 more games after that in a row. This league can be wonky.
Yeah, I mean, it's like one thing happens, bad thing happens to the Bears, and it screws up their whole season. That's why I thought week 1, when Minnesota came back in the fourth quarter, I thought it'd be, we're fucked. And then we get hammered against Detroit. I'm like, oh, here we go. It's true. But you know what? I'm scared of any team that has a running game. Bears rushing defense is
terrible.
Is worse than Ken being a supposedly guinea. But
hey.
You're not a real guinea because you wiped the face there. But Austin Denny, man, I have a feeling that even though Raiders have their offensive line issues and stuff like that, I mean, Austin Denny, he can break tackles and shit not like Montgomery. Yeah, you can't compare it, but anybody with a good running back, we're in trouble because we can't stop the rush.
Look, let me go this real quick. Eric posted the next 4 games for the Lions. The Browns will be a great test, right? Great test. The Bengals without Joe Burrow, okay, you might as well just, it's like a bye week at this point, which is sad to say, but it really is. The Chiefs should be a good game, and the Bucs will be a really good game because Baker and the Bucs have this thing for playing the Lions really good. That's going to be a good game too. They got a tough schedule ahead of them.
Yeah, if they pull 2-2 out of that, they should be happy with that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I wouldn't be too worried if I'm the Lions of the Chiefs, because the Chiefs definitely still don't look like the Chiefs old either. Granted, again, it's the beginning of the season. They start out slow, but
look at that hot chick,
Jody. Good morning, Jody.
Yeah. We're just walking down, and we're leaving. Our flight goes in about. We got a driver giving us to the airport about 45 minutes, and we're off to see.
He said Jody.
That's his name is Jody.
Yeah.
Oh,
you got a problem, Joe?
I thought
he was speaking in the military.
Yo, you got a problem with your Mr. Clean Ass?
No, he was in the military version
Woody,
of Jody.
you never heard Woody? You've never heard of Jody before?
Yeah, it's right here.
No, military.
In the military, Jody is the dude that sleeps with your girl when you're on deployment.
Oh, I thought that was a naval seaman. The anulator.
Jody is also a type of bra.
Yeah.
No, that's why when he said Jody, I was laughing because I was like, why you called him Jody? Like,
that's called a naval anulator. Go ahead.
Anulator.
The thing with Kansas City, I agree with you guys, but Kansas City's still been keeping these games close. So, they're not the Kansas City of old, but they keep these games close. And if you keep it close, look at Cleveland just showed you what happens if you keep it close.
You get a shot.
Right? So, I mean, I don't like I said, I agree. If they're 2-2, come out of that 2-2, that's good. They probably 3-1's probably what most Lions fans realistically will say. The homers will say, "Oh, we're going to be 4-0 after that." But 3-1's a distinct possibility. 2-2, they should be happy. If they go 1-3, they should be pissed in the next 4 games.
I mean, even 1-3, I would.
Chiefs, what does that
I wouldn't be surprised, just because of the strength of schedule. And I don't think they're putting 38 points up on Cleveland. I'll just say that right now.
No.
So.
Yeah, I mean,
Cleveland's no joke, man.
That's going to be a gritty game, dude. That Cleveland game. It's like the Lions better be ready. They better pack a lunch, dude. That's going to be a gritty game.
I want to say something to all these, not you, Ken, the Packer fan, all these other Packer fans I've been hearing that Jordan loved this, Jordan loved that. Listen, we all make mistakes. Just learn from it. Oh my God, were they crucifying Jordan Love?
Yeah, I was gonna say I've been trying to tell them my analysis of it too. That come on, he got baited perfectly into it. Granted, I wish he would have taken the extra half a second, but it's not like he had the extra half a second with how the line was. So that the blame for that's to go around on a lot of people. I'm not absolving them of it though.
But this goes back to the argument I made. Yeah, Mitch, I don't think they're going 1-3.
Mitch, did you not listen to what I said? I said
whoa. I didn't know I fucking had to.
No, he did it. But Ken, this goes back to
happened?
what I was saying before the season, what Woody is saying as well. It's like for Love, though, this is kind of that make or break
Oh, yeah.
worth the money year. And when you make mistakes like he did against Cleveland, that literally did cost you that game. Eric, which one? This one. I understand. So I understand why some Packer fans are being the way they are, because they're paying Love an exorbitant amount of money for what they seem to be getting. And then you go from week 1, where he looks like Superman to a degree against a bad Lions team in week 1, to how he looked in week 3 against a really good Cleveland defense. That's one thing fans don't take into consideration, man. It's like, look at every week. It's not like you're playing the same level of defense every week. Some weeks you look really good because the defense you're playing against just isn't as good as the week before. Sometimes you look bad because you hit the best defense in the NFL. That makes anyone look silly. Just like sometimes your defense looks silly because you hit an offense that's just unstoppable. It happened.
Yep. That's why they play the games. You don't know who's going to play like what.
Mm-hmm. Well, hey, like the year we went 15-1, we lost to the Jaguars, who were 1-15 that year.
Let me mute this. We're in beautiful Chicago. Hold on a second.
Here comes ICE to deport Woody back to Pennsylvania.
They're going to drop him off at Penn State.
Oh, yeah. Definitely going to deport him to Penn State.
I mean, look, week 3,
Fuck
though.
you in Penn State, Ken.
week 3, though. I mean, we've just completed week 3. What are your biggest surprises in the first 3 weeks?
For the Bears or the whole NFL?
The whole NFL, whole thing.
Dude, just special teams has kicked it up, man. Is it 9 scores this week? Holy shit! I mean, I don't know, man. Special teams are coming on, even with these new kickoff rules and shit like that, which I can't stand. So special teams are my biggest, take. Good take. I don't know about the bad take. It's like 3 weeks. I mean, what can you say? It's not like I say, oh, the Bears got a lot better. No. But I believe that Dayball is going to lose his job. Either that or Russell Wilson's going to get benched for Dart. Little shit like that.
What do you think, Ken?
Actually, Daboll just came out and said that the quarterback change is not the table.
What?
Oh,
Brian Daboll yesterday on ESPN said there was an article that said that Brian Daboll said that a quarterback change is not off the table at this point.
well,
Am I
he
right?
finally is reversing his stance. It finally must be getting to him that his seat's a little warm. And by warm, I mean it's absolutely scorching. And about
You mean his ass is on fire?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? That's my biggest surprise so far. I mean, what the Big Blue is 1-2, right? But my biggest surprise is how bad the Giants have actually been defensively. Because offensively, we kind of figured there'd be some struggles, but defensively, they have not been nearly as good as I thought they would be.
Yeah.
Aren't they 0-3?
Or they're 0-3.
Who did they beat?
No, they're
They're
0-3.
0-3.
Oh, yeah. No, they are. Yeah.
I mean, so that for me, their defense being as bad as it's been put up, it hasn't been terrible, but it hasn't been where I thought they would be.
Yeah. I knew their secondary wasn't great, but I figured that defensive line would have more of an impact to where it would have covered up for that secondary a lot more.
Whoa, Eric. No, buddy. We're not letting you hop off the Russ train that easy. You can take your Jackson Dart stick and stick it right up your ass, all right? You have ridden Russ's nuts all off season.
Joe,
And
what's the matter? Hey, what's the matter with you today, man? You're talking about Jody being with the naval guys, and now you're talking about somebody to stick up their ass.
And don't forget about riding Russ's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and riding Russ's nuts. Yeah. No, Eric, you have been riding Russ's nuts all off season. You don't get to hop off now, buddy. You don't get to hop off now, buddy.
That rant has actually inspired me to think of the other big surprise of this year. Indianapolis freaking Colts with Indiana freaking Jones.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this team that coming into the season we all said would be dog shit. They would be vying for the number 1 overall pick. And like some of that's happened, like with other teams like the Saints, but 3-0. And Jones is looking like a stud right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got to give the man his flowers. I talked a whole bunch of shit about him in the offseason because I didn't think that he would be doing anything down there in Indianapolis. We've seen Indianapolis be a dumpster fire for a couple of years.
Pittsburgh, would we say Pittsburgh is surprising? Would we call Pittsburgh surprising at this point?
I don't know.
I mean, I think it's surprising maybe in the way they're winning games because some of it, it's like they've been winning some of it defense, some of it's been Rodgers, but the defense hasn't been necessarily as dominant as we would have thought. And it's required Rodgers to do a lot more.
Yeah, that's what's surprising to me is how bad Pittsburgh's run defense has been so far this year.
Herbert being 3-0 A-Dub is not look at that to me. That's not a huge surprise. I mean, honestly, that I picked the Chargers to win the division. Actually,
So
to me, it's not a massive surprise. Herbert's always been a good quarterback. He got good coaching. I'm not completely surprised by that.
I'll tell you one thing I'm really surprised by is how bad the Raiders' offensive line has been through 3 games. Like, we're talking like historic levels of bad, and I didn't expect that. Like, I didn't expect a top 5 unit, but I didn't expect like worse than bottom of the leader. Like, that's been a real disappointment.
Hey Joe, how do you think Bears fans feel like we went out and spent all this money on the offensive line, and our defense has been taking a shit? How do you feel about that?
We spent some money on the defensive line too. We bring in Grady Jarrett. Dio's actually been playing pretty good. But we spent money on him. And we got even last week the 2 sacks we got were at the end of the game when you could tee off on them because they're gonna pass. I mean but in the first 3 quarters of that game, almost no pressure on the quarterback.
I'll tell you, Woody, I would feel better as a Bears fan right now than I would as a Raiders fan because
oh my God, there we go.
No, and let me explain why. The Raiders looked decent in their first game, and then they've come out and just laid 2 fucking eggs in a row, dude. Like, the Bears didn't look good to start the season. They looked really bad, but last week Caleb looked good. Everything started to look up for them. So it's like, as far as trajectory goes, I would feel a lot more happy, or I would feel a lot more comfortable. Like, okay, maybe the Bears are actually starting to get it together. Because right now I'm looking at the Raiders and I'm like, how low can this go? Like,
hey, listen, this is what I was talking about. We're walking down, get our pizza yesterday, and a guy came up to me. He's like, "Yeah, Bears won Super Bowl." I was like, "Dude, you need to fucking relax." Yeah. I said right to him on Chicago, "You got to relax.
You got to relax.
You can't just get this off 1 win. Can't do it. It's got to be full season."
I wouldn't say the Bears started looking like dog shit. They started looking really good beginning of week 1, and the second half it fell apart. And then the Detroit game actually was a pretty good game, 21-14. They give up the big play to Tesla with the really bad call that leads to a free touchdown.
Soldier Field.
Then it fell apart. So they didn't look like dog shit in the first half of the first 2 games. But situations be they were, yeah, I get what you're saying. For me, I want to see how this offensive line does against Max Crosby. I mean, look, the offensive line looked good this week, but
another surprise to the Bears too is like my surprise at the beginning of the year was the Bears, Darnell Wright going to the Pro Bowl. Now the way he's fucking playing, that's way out of the ball field here. So I'm surprised with Jonah Jackson as well with all the penalties, but I know he's new to the team. It could be.
Whoa. Frame that comment, dude. Frame that comment. Don't give my Caleb his flowers. Whoa. Dude, everybody start praying. The world is coming to an end.
There is this thing going on around on the internet that today is supposedly the day of the rapture, so this might be another sign.
Today,
Eric, you're wrong.
is
Max Crosby does have a sack this season. Like your stats are
today.
off.
Hey, today is because Caleb Williams had 4 touchdown passes. Wiener Circle is giving up free hot dogs all day.
Yeah.
Super Bowl. Fuck out of here.
Well, you know what's funny though, Woody? I know you dislike.
You don't like
Braxton
wieners?
Jones.
What's that?
You know, you dislike Braxton Jones, but how many penalties has Braxton Jones been flagged for this season? I believe the answer is 0. In fact, I believe Darnell Wright, who everyone in Chicago loves, and I love him too, he leads the offensive line in flags.
Yeah, but how about this, Ken? Speaking of Braxton Jones, he didn't give up any fucking pressures on Sunday.
I know.
That's got to get you Viagra'd up. But here,
Viagra'd up, bricked up.
wow. But the player of the game on defense, Ken, and I hate to say it, Mr. Tremaine Edmonds from Virginia Tech. Now,
Well, hey,
he needs a lot better season, not just one game, because his contract and getting rid of him next year, that's a big thing. But that's 2 interceptions, and one was a great catch.
Well, Tyreek Stevenson had a breakout, not a breakout, but a good game.
Yeah, I know.
You know, I mean, and he's shown us flashes of that in the past. With him, with Tyreek, I think the fans are they can't get over the Washington taunting thing with the fans, whatever. And the other thing with him is he just needs consistency. And even during the game, like he got beat on, he didn't get beat. They put a pass; it was a zone pass, right, in between coverage. Oh, Tyreek got beat. No, Tyreek was where he was supposed to be in the zone coverage, and they put the ball in the void. I mean, so sometimes when these guys get beat, it's not that they're getting beat; they're where they're supposed to be. They're in a zone defense, and they don't necessarily get beat. The play design puts the ball where it should go, in the void, right, in between spaces. So these aren't the guys getting beat, and so like that was a bit. Oh my God, Tyreek got beat on this play. No, they put it in between the 2 defenders like they should in the zone, and they made a good play. You got to give the offense credit for making good plays, because look, when we make good plays, oh my God, sometimes we just made a good play, sometimes we beat a defender, but sometimes we just put the ball in the easy place in the void, like the DJ Moore touchdown. I mean, that wasn't a phenomenal play by DJ or Caleb. All Caleb had to do was dip his head, get out of the pocket. He was wide open. Why? Because of the way the coverage scheme was. Left him unaccounted for, and it was an easy touchdown. It wasn't some spectacular play from Caleb. I mean, you might say that him getting out of the pocket was good. Okay, fine. But DJ Moore being wide open was not some spectacular play between Caleb and DJ. It was good play design by Ben Johnson exploiting the defense that they call.
And that flea flicker, man, that could have been a disaster. The way that started out looking.
Oh, I saw this. I don't want to make the Bears show this morning because Woody and I have a lot of Bears to talk tomorrow night when he's back home and rested in Pennsylvania. But people are talking how Luther Burden now is going to push DJ Moore to number 3 on the depth chart. I'm like, okay. He's had one good game. Now, granted, his one game is better than his entire season so far. But come on, guys. These are rookies. Yeah. Look, what I'll say about the Bears offense is you're starting to see the potential I was talking about during the preseason a little bit.
Sorry, I was in the elevator.
That's fine.
I was going down.
You did a lot here. The defense is my problem in Chicago right now. And Gentry should have a good game on Sunday if the Bears don't do something about that practice this week.
True. And it's not just the pass rush; it's the DBs, man. I mean, Tyreek had a big game, but beyond that, I mean, Brisker was there. I was doing his little hawk motion when he was in the end zone. Every time he makes a stop.
Yeah.
But I mean, we need Ryan Poles. Jalen Johnson. The surgery. He can be playing again this year. He's not out for the whole year. But we need a wake up call with these DBs.
Yeah, I mean, I look at this is the part of the season too. I kind of understand why teams are mad at their GMs because hey, go sign a guy, right? Hey, we lost Bosa, go sign a guy. Hey, we lost Jalen, go sign a guy. Hey, we lost whoever, go sign a guy. That
Right.
sounds nice and easy, but if there's no guy out there that's worth you spending the money on, why go spend a guy? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
hey, Ken, I would temporarily go out and go get Stephon Gilmore just to fill in. You know, he's been in the league, he's been a Pro Bowler. You know, fucking do it.
yeah, I mean, I would say, or at least bring him in and have a press release that we brought him in to work him out. That might put the fans at bay a little bit more. Like, I understand why fans are mad, saying, why aren't we doing anything? Because they're not seeing anything. I'm sure, we know that's not the case. We know these GMs are looking to fill these holes. But, they're just, at least bring Gilmore in. You're not going to sign him, but work him out. And so at least fans go, well, at least they're working guys out. And Green Bay's going to get that with offensive linemen this week, especially, if Zach Tom is out for any amount of time.
And that's what it seems like it's going to be because they decided, hey, we're playing Cleveland Browns.
I just want to say goodbye to the podcast.
We're going to rush him back out there so he re-injures himself because he literally got to play one snap before he got re-injured. Hey,
gentlemen, I just wanted to cut you off. I'm sorry. I'm going to the airport now. Ken, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
If you don't hear from me, that means I got in a plane crash. But no joke. Bears are going to Super Bowl. They won. I'm sorry. Next week you guys are going to get hammered, but I'll see you later.
Have a good one.
All right, you too.
Let's see.
Hey, I just want to point out something because Eric is dancing on the fact that Max Crosby has 1 sack this season. There's a quantifiable reason for that. Like, they moved Max Crosby to the 5 technique, and Max Crosby has never played the 5 technique in his whole career. He usually plays like the 7, maybe even an 8 technique. He's always way outside of the tackle. And I think that has had an impact on his production.
Yeah.
And also he's lost weight this year. I don't know if you guys have watched him at all, but he looks thinner this year. Like he doesn't have the same ability to bull rush and to like push offensive linemen off balance to get and still have that bend. I think it's a power issue. But yeah, Pete Carroll, for whatever reason, decided to move him to the 5 technique.
That may prove to be effective as the season goes on. It's the learning curve of the first couple of weeks, so I get that too. That's why I think that this week is a good test for the Bears as far as offensive line. Because look, it's not that Crosby's not good. It's that he's in a different technique. He's still a hell of a player you got to account for, and the Bears have to account for him this weekend.
Yeah, but to me, that's why are you messing with success? You know what you get in Crosby playing what he's used to, and now you want to try and reinvent the wheel because you think, oh, well, if we use him exactly how I want to and I envision it, he's going to be even better. Why not just leave him where he's already damn good?
I want to thank Eric for the stat line here. I saw this the other day too, and I didn't say anything about it. I'm happy that a Packer fan did. Eric, here's Jordan Love so far through the season: 5 TDs, one interception, a 110.1 passer rating. Okay. There's Caleb: 7 TDs, 1 interception, and a 107.6. And to be honest, even if you look at last year's numbers, while Jordan's were better, once again, it was not as that. It wasn't like it was a Lake Michigan in between them. Maybe more like the Chicago River. And that goes back to where Dorn was talking about seeing improvement. Mm-hmm. The one thing that Caleb, I'm happy that in the first 3 games I can say, is his proclivity of not turning the ball over is still there. He doesn't turn the ball over. That's still there. But I think his decision-making has gotten better in terms of getting rid of it. That rating should be higher because he makes the amazing hard throws, but I swear he gets bored on the easy throws and just kind of like they don't get there. Maybe that should hopefully work itself out here this week, next week, or this week, and in DC. It is interesting, though. I'm happy Eric brought that up because that's also why Packer fans are kind of miffed at Love for a little bit because, like, you're thinking, like, dude, you're making $55 million. You're this big-time quarterback. I should be seeing more big-time numbers, not Caleb Williams right there with you. And it's in a Packer fan mindset, right? Like, if you go to that Packer fan mindset, I get it. I still think it's make or break for him. I don't know. I mean, right now, is he worth $55 million? No, he's probably more than that Jared Goff $48 million deal. So yes, right now I'd say they're still overpaid. But in this league, that it's relative. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you overspent by $20 million on the guy. And look at
Like the Cowboys.
Yeah, and I always caveat this with the Love contract. It's not like Goody had much choice.
I think the Cowboys overspent by $20 million.
Yeah.
And Eric, you don't get to come in here, empty the whole magazine into the Raiders, and then be like, no, let's have peace now. No, dude. If my nickname is going to be Timu Joe Rogan, I'm fine with that. But I think that we should make Eric's nickname Russ's Ball Washer.
Oh, that's fucking bad.
Let me switch to a team we don't talk much about, the Dolphins. We do send to their ex, and we don't talk about the Fins. Maybe the Dolphin fans are happy we don't. I
was going to say.
But,
okay,
is there
I
anything redeemable?
I will give it to them. They did show fight this last week, which the first couple of games they did not. And they're not completely dead in the water. I don't get me wrong. I don't think they have great prospects on the year, but it's at least serviceable, and it's not an embarrassment to have them go out there and just stumble.
Let me ask the big question: do they need to get rid of Tua?
I think they need to do a whole wipe of the organization. Get rid of all the coaches. Get rid of Tua. I'd start completely anew at the end of the year.
I wouldn't get rid of McDaniel. I would definitely do a rebuild though. But I think I would stick with McDaniel. Let him draft his own quarterback. See what he does with that.
It would massively depend on how they finish out the rest of this year. Because if they look at all how they did in the very beginning of the year, where they had no fight in them, it looked like he had completely lost the locker room. Now, their last game against the Bills, they put up a damn good fight for quite a while until Tua did Tua things, and their defensive lineman decided. What the fuck?
It doesn't even make any fucking sense.
That's what I'm curious to know what that is.
Do they trade Tyreek at the deadline if they're, obviously not in the playoff hunt? Do they trade Tyreek?
I would. I would get what I could.
Yeah, anywhere between now and the deadline, because either way, even if they show a whole lot, I would still move on from Tua. I think the experiment with him is over.
How does that look, though? I mean,
are they able to get rid of Tua though? Because they just signed him.
He just signed the extension 2 years ago. He's got some time left on that. So there's dead cap, but we already know the NFL teams don't care about dead cap. Russ Wilson. I mean, the teams have already shown they don't really care.
I was going to say, I think I'd just bite the bullet on that one.
But I mean,
it's not like he's going to be getting any better.
But do you maybe find a trade partner for him. I don't know. But
Eric, you'll be projecting your fantasies onto me, bud.
I mean, if you're Tua or you're the Dolphins, and let's say the Dolphins decided, well, we're just going to draft the number one overall. We're going to take a quarterback at number one, and Tua's done. Okay, well, do you cut him or do you trade him? And if you trade him, who's a partner?
I don't think you can draft a quarterback number one if you're the Dolphins. Like, if you're going into a full rebuild, I think you take that number one overall pick and you trade it off and get as many picks as you can. And then you try to build your offensive line before you draft a quarterback.
Yeah, but if Mike McDaniel sticks around, he's going to have to go out and get that quarterback. I don't think that he gets that grace period.
See, I would give him the grace period only because he didn't draft Tua. Like, he's had some success there. I would give him a chance to draft his own quarterback, but drafting a quarterback if you're in a rebuild, like you're off, I just don't think that's smart. You could trade that pick you could get 3 first rounders for it, and then start building your line, and then you have that ammunition when you want to draft a quarterback.
Look, it's like what I said yesterday with Cincinnati. Like, at this point, Burrow's out 3 months. Shut him down. Just say he's out for the year, and take the number one, trade it, right? Trade it, flip with someone in the top 10 so you can go get a good offensive lineman in the top 10. And then, oh, by the way, the next 2 years after that, you've got two number ones each year to keep working on the offensive line. You keep your money numbers down. And oh, by the way, you're probably getting a player in the mix, so maybe you're getting an offensive lineman with that trade. If you're looking at the Bears, the way they traded the number 1 pick, because that's a standard now, right? The Bears traded the pick. There was a flip for that year's one, plus 2 ones, plus a bona fide 1 receiver in DJ Moore at the time, right? So if you're looking at that, if you're Cincy or you're the Dolphins, I mean, look, if you're not going to take a quarterback, yeah, you flip that. If you're going to stick with Tua in Miami, you trade out the number 1 and move back to 8 or 9 or 6 or whatever in the first round, where it's probably more appropriate to take an offensive lineman. But now you can really build the line the next 2 or 3 years in the draft.
And this is where I was thinking I might even consider holding on to Tua just for now, because you can build your roster and, let Tua finish out or get at least to the point where he doesn't have a huge dead money hit on your team.
Right.
So it's like, might as well let him finish out his guaranteed money on the contract and build up your roster while you can, and then go out and get your quarterback later.
And look at, who knows, maybe you give Tua a line, he starts lighting it up, and now you don't have to get rid of Tua.
Maybe, but
I won't trust Tua because he's very up and down.
Yeah.
He'll throw some of the most beautiful balls you've ever seen out there, but he will also make some of the worst passes you've ever seen a quarterback make.
Some of that, well, a lot of his interceptions, and I'll play devil's advocate for Tua here, is he's under immense pressure when he throws them. So
I've seen him throw it with a clean pocket, and it'd be terrible. That's my only point.
Jordan Love throwing bad interceptions with a clean pocket. They all do. Every quarterback does. It's just most of his interceptions are pressure. Maybe if you protect him more. I mean, the point being, though, Ken, what we could say, well, there's no way. I mean, we can't say it because look at Indiana Jones. If let's say the Dolphins do what Joe said, keep Tua, trade out number 1, get offensive line help, start rebuilding that team with Tua still there, it may end up to a point, as I'm saying, it could possibly end up at a point where Tua ends up being their guy still. Because maybe he turns the corner, maybe he cleans up those interceptions, whatever. Maybe the team around him gets better and he gets better in the process. And I mean, that's one way of building. You don't have to jettison your quarterback to rebuild. I mean, look at Herbert. They didn't jettison him when they rebuilt that offense.
But I also don't think that there's anybody that's going to be willing to trade for Tua, like with that contract. And it's not even so much that Tua's that bad. It's just, if you look around the league, how many teams actually are willing to go out and trade for a quarterback? Like most of the teams, even the teams that suck, have just recently drafted a quarterback. Right. So it's like he's just in that unfortunate place this year where if they decided to trade him, there's not going to be a trade market.
Look at C.J. Stroud isn't the stud guy everyone thought he was last year, and he isn't this year. Maybe the Texans are in the market for a quarterback in a year or two if his slide continues. Maybe San Francisco is, because Brock Purdy might not be the guy. I mean, that's the thing. Just because they're a guy this year, it's like we talked about yesterday. Some guys, it takes 3 years for them to develop into a good NFL quarterback, and then you're solid for 10 more years. Allen, Burrow, examples. Some guys come out hot, and they're never that good again. And right now, that's C.J. Stroud, for example. Right, that's Drake May is not having a great year up there in New England compared to last year. Bo Nix is slide from last year so far. So I mean, you get the inverse. So who knows? Maybe Tua, if they do this rebuild, maybe Tua becomes a guy that they can roll with for another contract extension if there's not a quarterback out there that they can sign or draft as a replacement. You don't have to have a world beater quarterback to win a Super Bowl, Brad Johnson.
Trent Dilfer. No, I agree. And I think that scenario is more likely than them finding a trade partner for Tua with that contract. That's my point. It's like, I think it makes more sense for the Dolphins to hang on to Tua, but, finish where you finish. If you get the number 1 pick, trade that out,
Would you trade out number 2 if you had the number 2 pick if you're the Dolphins?
Absolutely. I would trade out to get as many many top flight picks as I could and start to rebuild. Plus I would trade Tyreek. I would try to hold on to Waddle because I think Waddle, you got to keep something in the cupboard. You know? He's younger.
Yeah.
But I mean, if the price was right, if somebody was willing to give me a first rounder for Waddle, I might trade him too.
Yeah, this might be the proper way to do it and all that, but this is having a lot of faith in the patience of the owner. And as we've seen in this league, they have pretty much slim to no patience, at least recently. They're very quick to move on from a guy. And if you're going to move on, I think you just got to wipe the whole slate at that point.
I think a lot of that's fan-driven, though. Like, the fans need to, like, take a chill pill.
Oh.
Like, just understand, like, look, go back, you know, I hate to always go back to this, but go back to the Cubs when they hired Theo Epstein. I mean, he's a great model. Like, the day he got hired, he told Cubs fans this: we're going to suck still for a little bit. It's going to take it's a 5-year build plan. It's going to take at least 5 years. And he delivered, right? I wish football teams, GMs when they get hired, ownership when they talk about this kind of stuff would be the same kind of realistic talk with fans that Theo Epstein had, the Cubs fans, who at that point, 103 years without a World Series ring, were like, what the hell? We need one yesterday. But, like, just, like, be honest. Like, look, we're rebuilding. Don't expect us to be that good the next couple years. We'll win some games. We're going to lose more than we win next year. Then we should improve every year. Like, be honest with the fans, and I think that would help temper some of that. Like, in Chicago, is just as guilty. Like, everyone expected the Sun, and after week 1, they were freaking out, fire poles, blah, blah, blah. After week 2 is even worse. Now it's like after this week, we're like, what do you say? We're going to the Super Bowl. It's like, dudes, like, this is year 1 of the Ben Johnson regime, and now your GM is married to your head coach, who's married to your quarterback, because he's the whole reason you came there. So you can't say Ben Johnson didn't get his quarterback. He came to Chicago because of the quarterback. That was one of his primary reasons for coming to Chicago. So now you got to give them 2 to 3 years to show, you know, and have tracked improvement. And look, we've seen it with NFL coaches where it doesn't really even sometimes take effect to years 4 and 5. We are so truncated now on the time we give our teams that no wonder why we're constantly frustrated and stressed out and giving ourselves ulcers over it. So, like, the Dolphins, I agree. I don't think they'll do it, Ken, because the right way to do it's what Joe's talking about. But because of the way the fans and the ownership and the people talk, they kind of like, it's a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Like, just be honest with your fans. We're going to suck for the next 2 years. Like, if Carolina had done that, I think that would have been much easier on their fan base and their coaching staff. They would have just been honest. Like, yeah, look, we made this trade for number 1. We're still, even with getting our quarterback at number 1, we're still going to suck next year.
Yeah, the only thing is, though, is they still have to sell tickets and merchandise and all that. So they don't want to say that because they want you to have all that hope and belief. That way you spend all that money and keep making them more money. Because if you say, oh, well, we're just going to suck for the next 2 years. Oh, I know what tickets I'm not buying for 2 years.
I get that. Because you don't want to be Jacksonville where the Jaguars back, like, you know, around 2008 and so had to, like, put tarps over seats so they could say they sold the seats to be on TV. And the smaller markets, I get that. Like in Green Bay, Chicago, you don't have to worry about that. Fans are going to show. The Raider fans are going to show. Certain teams are going to show regardless because they're diehard. Miami, I get it because Miami, Florida in general, being such a transient state, I get it. But I mean, look at when the Steelers come to town, that game's gonna be sold out. You know, and then you're just gonna get more opposing team fans, and they're still gonna spend money. So I mean, but we create this issue ourselves. I think the Dolphins probably do need to be big sellers at the deadline. I would trade Tua, get at least a second rounder out of them, or not Tua. I mean, Cheetah.
Really?
I think they can get at least a second rounder out of Cheetah. You know, look, this is the team that let Van Ginkel go, and look how much the Vikings love him. They have made some bonehead decisions with letting people go. Now they got to make some smart decisions and trade some people. I think they could pick up 4 or 5 draft picks in next year's draft easily. All right, Jim, good to see him, brother. They need to do something, and then trade that 1 or 2.
I think we disappointed Lions fans because we didn't glaze the Lions this whole show.
We didn't dedicate the entire show to it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're so NFC North centric, which is trying to get us out of the North a little bit to some of the other teams, like the Jets. The Jets are a team we're talking about. They're definitely they're not, the record's not showing, but dude, they're a pretty good team. They're actually playing pretty good ball.
The silent assassin, huh?
So I mean, they'll get Fields back and they'll be better. I mean, really, this season, a couple surprises. I think Indianapolis is the surprise. That's the surprise. The Cardinals. Surprise. The Cardinals. Look at the Cardinals.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and say, I know their record doesn't really show it, but I think the Jets are a bit of a surprise too. I think the Jets are a better team than what their record is showing. They've shown a lot of fight in their games. They seem like they're on a good trajectory. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's going to translate to wins. I hope for them it does, but it seems like they play hard for Aaron Glenn too.
They do.
That's something that can't be understated or can't be discounted. They seem to really like Aaron Glenn. They play hard for him.
I mean, San Francisco's better than what maybe some people have thought. Arizona's better than what some people have thought. Seattle, my God. Seattle's mollywop.
Seattle's offense is looking good.
Yeah, I was horribly wrong because I thought Seattle's offensive line was going to be terrible this year. And I mean, I'm talking bottom of the league terrible. Maybe not the worst line, but in that bottom third. And I expected us to get the old Sam Darnold. Well, let me say, I was wrong, at least so far this year, because the Seahawks are a good team.
Tomorrow we'll start getting into week 4 as we'll prep for Thursday night football, of course. But through week 3, definitely some surprises from what we were talking in the preseason. A couple of us, we were all wrong on a couple. And,
oh yeah.
Well, I mean,
let me say, because I took my victory lap after the first 2 weeks about all the picks that I made throughout all the weeks being all damn near perfect, only got a couple wrong. I took an absolute beating this week 3. I had 8 or 9 games wrong this week.
Lions looked good last night. They're starting to get together with the coaching changes. The offensive line's starting to gel a little better. Of course, the Ravens weren't the test we thought they would be with some injuries, but still looking better. They deserved to win last night. We're seeing the progression. We're starting to get out of that preseason phase, and we're going to start to see what our teams. We're starting to see what the issues are, right? And this week will be a further test of that. And I can't wait till we start talking Bears Raiders here in a couple days too. We've talked a little bit already this week for that war week. Who the Packers got this week?
Cowboys.
Oh yeah, them boys.
Yeah.
I will say this though: the Cleveland game. What was interesting? The very first play of the game, they ran right at Parsons for an 8-yard gain. That's still the playbook, man. You run at Parsons.
I was gonna say they also ran right at Parsons, and he had like a 2-yard tackle for a loss.
Yeah, so, but I mean,
it's a coin flip whether it works or not.
But overall, well, yeah, it worked because overall they ran at Parsons for the most part. You can run on Parsons. Yeah, he's going to make a play here and there, but if your success rate on him is about 66%, you take it, and that seems to be what the game plan. So as team, we'll see how the Parsons look at. I'm not trying to diss their anything in Green Bay, but it'll be interesting to see how teams attack Parsons with the run game. So like Chicago, our run game better get a lot better by the time we face them in week 11, 12, 13, somewhere around there. That's going to be interesting to watch this week because Dallas has a pretty decent run game as we saw last week. But guys, so that's it we got for time. We'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you for being with us. Thank you, Woody, before you hop this flight at O'Hare. We'll see you all tomorrow. Be safe today. Have a great Tuesday, everyone.